Hello, everybody. Welcome to Galaxy Brains, where that is not your weather app telling you it, quote, feels like 110. It is the 110th time Aaron Rodgers has accused a Jets receiver of being woke for dropping a ball in Jets camp, Denny. Did you like that one, Denny?
Garrett Wilson has gone woke. I take no pleasure in reporting that, but it's true. And we have to realize that going forward as fantasy managers, I think.
Denny, Allen Lazard has fallen. Even the great Allen Lazard has gone woke. Randall Cobb is holding out. It is heartbreaking. Randall Cobb is holding out against woke. You know, get anything but woke this week, Denny, was Sean Payton, who was telling it like it is, like we used to do in this country. He spent time nuking Nathaniel Hackett, the New York Jets. Not kidding. For some reason, the 2000 Washington Commanders. He spent a lot of time trashing the 2000 Washington Commanders. His own bosses, the Treaty of Versailles, Nixon dumping the gold standard. He was really, really going off to USA Today's Jarrett Bell. And you just think that it's been an interesting pattern he's had since arriving in Denver, where he's been kind of shooting off his mouth and not really realizing who he might be talking about some of the time.
He's loose, Sean Payton. He's come back and he's loose, and he refuses to be censored. And for that we have to respect him. You gotta hand it to Sean Payton for constantly insulting his own bosses. 6 weeks ago, he was telling some unfortunate Broncos players that they would be, quote, working at Walmart if they didn't shape up and play better. Of course, Sean Payton's bosses are the Waltons, the owners of Walmart. So that's tough. He later walked it back, as we said on Galaxy Brains, and said, "Look, I love Walmart. I work at Walmart myself in the off season." So now he's saying, "Hey, by the way, my bosses made maybe the worst hire in modern football history when they brought in Nathaniel Hackett to coach the Broncos last year." So maybe one thing Sean Payton should consider, and he does have a Galaxy Brain, is just not insulting, the people who are signing his paychecks.
Yeah, because again, we left out the fact. So he unloaded on Nathaniel Hackett, which, to be fair, that's fine. Like we've all been there, Sean. Yeah, we do that. But then he unloaded on. He said the front office, and he said the GM, seemingly not remembering that was the GM and front office who hired him.
Yeah,
in Denver, and it just seems like maybe he needs like a fact sheet with them before he sits down. To USA Today's Jarrett Bell's like, I'm going to get a few things off my chest. Then a Broncos staffer just has to come up to him real quick. I'm like, here are the following people who you work for, Sean.
Right.
I work for Walmart.
Here are the corporations that are affiliated with our ownership.
Yeah.
Also he's talking very bravely. Maybe you do have to hand it to him for this. Very bravely for a guy whose entire success in Denver is going to be reliant on late career Russell Wilson. So we're going to see how that goes for him.
He did. He also guaranteed a playoff berth. I don't know what we're complaining about. We've become much more annoyed by the sanitized modern athlete and coach who's like, we respect the hell out of Las Vegas Raiders and Jimmy Garoppolo. That guy's been giving us problems for years, man. That Jimmy G gives me nightmares. And it's better for Sean Payton not Jimmy G. I mean, friggin'
he's telling it like it is.
Yeah. He's telling it like it is. We'll see how it goes for him. Denny, we'll see how it goes for the San Francisco 49ers, who have 69 quarterbacks.
They do.
69 different storylines about how to hype each of them up. Some days we're talking about Sam Darnold. Other days we're talking about Brock Purdy. Sam Darnold, by the way, compared to Steve Young this week by Kyle Shanahan. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about Brock Purdy, who is the toast of the town. The dads of America, their favorite athlete used to be Tiger Woods. Now it's Brock Purdy. It's only Brock Purdy. The dads of America worship Brock Purdy. That very much includes Kyle Shanahan. Denny, you made an interesting observation on Twitter the other day where Kyle Shanahan was talking about Brock Purdy's health. You took a little umbrage when he said there were no restrictions with what Brock Purdy was doing in training camp. Can you maybe explain why?
Yeah, I mean, Kyle Shanahan came out and said, hey, look, Purdy is our guy going forward. He's going to be the starter. And this, of course, is what they've been saying all along. The team has said it's Purdy's job to lose. And he said there will be no restrictions on Brock Purdy except for every third day he will be restricted. But beyond those restrictions, there will be no restrictions. Zero except for the one every third day.
It just seemed like the 49ers aren't seeing reality with Brock Purdy because he didn't even get into the butt. He just left out the butt Like, it was just left to us to figure out, oh, he's not practicing every third day. That seems kind of weird. That seems like maybe like a restriction. And I think Kyle Shanahan failing to realize this, Denny, is kind of emblematic of a new disorder we've seen emerging in American society. We kind of whisper about it. Some people tweet about it sometimes. You don't really like to tweet about it. It's kind of weird. You don't like to talk to your family about it.
No.
Because it's just embarrassing, to be honest. But I'm talking about Brock Purdy derangement syndrome, Denny, where you and I have witnessed many of our close friends and family suffer with it, where for some reason, because a 7th-round quarterback was good for like 5 games, we've decided to suspend all reality. And we're watching many, many people suffer with this. And I just wonder what you have to say about it.
It's tough to watch. It's tough to watch. And honestly, the derangement syndrome, the Purdy derangement syndrome didn't really catch on, didn't really spread throughout the populace until the young man, of course, suffered a catastrophic, potentially career.
His elbow exploded on Fox.
On live TV. And then the syndrome really, really picked up steam. And now it seems that everybody is infected with it. We're gonna see if that pays dividends this year. But there seems to be zero skepticism about Brock Purdy going forward, and I'm skeptical of that.
I'm just too. This is not to make this like personal or weird, but Dad, I mean, I know that you really love this Purdy guy quote, and that this Purdy guy seems like the toughest quarterback since Joe Namath, but. I mean, we got to see him do it at least in 2 different seasons first before we can really be anointing him.
Right. And I don't know if Pat wants to share this with the audience. I mean, Pat's dad said, I wish that were my son.
He did.
That was hurtful. That was hurtful to Pat. And I mean, he's man enough to share it with us. I think that is something. But yeah, no, the syndrome has gone too far.
We're trying to work through that. My dad is the first man born before 1960 to go to therapy. So we are working together through that now and family therapy, what he said to me about Brock Purdy.
That's right.
Denny, our audience, they know that you're into analytics. They associate you with numbers. They associate you with hard data, finding trends in the numbers. And this week you spotted something in the data that you think is a really telling signal for the upcoming 2023 season and the Atlanta Falcons' offensive intention, something that has frankly gone way overlooked despite just how strong this data is.
I don't know where the media is on this, honestly, Pat. I talked to you before the show, and it's just really perplexing. Where is the mainstream press? It's complicated, but I'll break it down just quickly here. Arthur Smith grew a mustache this all season, and I think it's noteworthy because, man, hey, that mustache tells me that the Falcons do not intend to do anything differently. Coming off their extremely, extremely run-heavy 2022 season. If you thought that piling up a bunch of skill position players through the draft over the past 3 years was going to lead to a balanced or even pass-heavy offense, you are wrong because of the analytics of that group of hair growing underneath Arthur Smith's nose. Okay. The Falcons may not throw a pass all year per the analytics of the mustache. And I wanted to ask you, Pat, as someone who grew a mustache once, I believe during COVID.
During COVID.
Tell me about the experience. How does it change you as a person?
During the novel coronavirus pandemic of 2019, I did grow a mustache. And first, Desmond Ridder showed up to Falcons camp. He saw the mustache and just immediately threw up his hand. Immediately FaceTimed his girlfriend's like, "Babe, we're not throwing this year.
We're never going to drop.
We're not throwing the ball. We're not dropping back. I'm going to the weight room. I'm not even bothering throwing anymore. I'm just bulking up to run and block." But Denny, I'm not known as the world's highest T guy. I had a mustache. The first thing I did every single day, I woke up, took 2 watermelons in each hand, and just smashed them on the sides of my head. That's how I started the day.
Yeah.
So you can imagine how the rest of the day went.
Right. And you had a headache.
Yeah, I did.
You were telling me before the show that you actually played Madden for 11 straight months and you didn't throw one single pass while you had the mustache. It just compels you to run the ball. So, fantasy managers, we have to pay attention to the facial hair that head coaches grow in the offseason, and Arthur Smith is no exception.
Denny, you may have thought you were riffing and joking with that Madden and mustache and COVID. This is not a joke. During COVID, I did a Madden online dynasty where I broke the single season rushing record with that.
No.
That is not a bit.
It's real.
It is real.
The analytics
2,200 yards, and this was a 16-game season, by the way.
Oh, that sounds like a lot.
It was a lot. I was running the ball a lot. I got eliminated in the playoffs with my arch rival, Nick Hess, a.k.a. the Green Bay Packers, though. Still struggling with that one.
The stash couldn't come through. I understand. It's okay.
It couldn't come through. It can't do everything. We can't do everything except try to make you laugh from time to time. Try to expand your mind. That's really what we're here for. So for Denny Carter, I'm Patrick Daugherty. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back soon for more brain expansion.